I swear this thing always gets caught in something. All right, welcome. Yeah, I just saw Marty Supreme, and my camera just went down. Okay, hang on a sec. We're back. Jesus Christ. Hi, welcome. I just saw Marty Supreme, and I wanted to talk about it. Basically, I just want to break down, give it a quick review, spoiler-free version. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really fun. Yeah, I don't really want to say much more else without getting into spoilers. Spoilers from here on out for Marty Supreme. I'll do my best to not spoil as much as I can, but at the same time, it happens. So what can you do? We're gonna start with the story. The story's somewhat generic. I don't want to I feel like generic is the wrong word to use because any movie directed by the Safdies isn't generic. It's like exciting as like a bare minimum. They've sort of mastered that sort of like anxiety, like nerve-wracking filmmaking, and I think it's really fun. Obviously, I was a fan of Uncut Gems and Good Time, and this movie feels very similar to those two. The story isn't super intricate or deep, I feel like, is the thing. I mean, I guess you could say intricate. Maybe it's a little intricate because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of spinning plates, and I'm sure that that's tough, but like it's not like I didn't come into this movie to be like, wow, this story is going to like grip me and be like, this crazy thing I've never seen before. It just feels like a lot of the movie exists to get Marty from one place to another. But like, because there's, consequences happening because of his actions. This is much more of a character study than it is a like hardcore story driven movie. At least according to, in my opinion, but whatever. Like I said, very similar to Uncut Gems, Good Time, that sort of anxiety like filmmaking that they love to do. Although this is only one of the Safdies, I don't know which one. I'll put it up on screen. But we'll move on to the thing that is, I think, the strongest part of the movie, and that is the performances. Obviously, Timothée Chalamet killed it. All the performances in this movie were really solid. I remember leaving the theater and my sister, who is not a big film buff, she's not a big film fan, she was saying how like all of the characters were unlikable to some extent. And I was saying how that's seemed like the point. I was seeing a lot of reviews that were saying similar things that were like, this guy is irredeemable. He's a complete asshole. How the hell can anyone support this guy? And it's like, yeah, that's the point. Like the point of the character is not to be like, wow, I wish I could be just like Marty Mauser. Like, no, he's an asshole. He treats people like shit. He completely like shirks responsibility and would sacrifice anyone and anything in order to chase his dream. And he's a dick. He's a terrible person, and you're not supposed to like empathize with him, or not empathize. You're not supposed to idolize him. There you go. Because he is an asshole, and it's played perfectly by Timothée Chalamet. He has this charm, this drive. He has this like gravity around him that all these other characters can't help but get sucked into, and every single time they get burned by him. Every single time. And yet, he still tricks the same people multiple times in the movie. You might be thinking, man, these people are really dumb. But they do a really good job of making it seem that Marty is that kind of person. Those people exist. They are out there. There are people who are just that good at talking to people and convincing people that you can just do anything. And oftentimes, in Marty's case, he's using it for personal gain, and that's not good, and that's why he's an asshole. But I think that's the point. Like, all the negative reviews on this movie were how, okay, so this is a spoiler. Not all the negative reviews, but some of them, but this is a spoiler. A bunch of negative reviews I saw were saying how the ending didn't feel earned because he was a dick the entire movie, and it's very shitty to try and redeem someone in the last 5 minutes. And I think all those people are missing the point. The point isn't that Marty is now redeemed because he had a kid, because the movie opens with him getting his girlfriend pregnant, and the end of the movie is his girlfriend gives birth. the final scene is him in the hospital looking at his son, and he starts to cry. Now, this is the first instance in the entire movie that Marty actually shows any emotion other than, how to describe it, I'm sure it'll come to me at some point, but he's very much this person who is just like, go, 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 not thinking of anyone else but himself. And in that final moment of the movie, that final scene, he sees his son and starts to cry, and at that point he gave up on being a ping pong champion because he learned that he wasn't going to be in the tournament anyway because he's kind of an asshole, and the guy who runs the tournament is like, no man, you like suck and I don't like you, basically. And so he's like, well, I might as well just go home and be with my girlfriend. Sure enough, like, he sees his child and like something clicks, and it's like he's not meant to be redeemed in that moment, but it's the first step. It's the first time in the movie in which Marty like comes back down to reality. There are so many moments, and this is something that I thought that I had to write down when I first left the movie, is that the biggest compliment I can give to this movie is that there's this childlike whimsy to it. There's this whimsy of like chasing your dreams and like pursuing greatness and all this stuff that follows Marty. And as the viewer, you separate the two of like reality and chasing your dreams, because in the movie, him chasing his dreams ends up shorting out everyone close to him, everyone in his life. So you as the viewer would be like, oh, yes, like chase your dreams, but at the same time, like, you have to have boundaries, and Marty has none, so he's an asshole. There are these moments throughout the movie of like piercing reality, where like when we're not just following Marty and he's interacting with these other people and he's fucking them over, that you get these moments of like, wow, he really is a dick, and it reminds you that this movie, like, the world is real. Like this is real life. It's not a fantasy, you know. I mean, obviously it is. It's a movie, but like in the context of the movie, the world is real, and there is repercussions to his actions. So many times there will be a negative repercussion, and he won't even register it. He'll just be like, "So, are you gonna go get me the money?" Or like that kind of thing. Like, he doesn't care about reality seeping in. We, the viewers, see it. Like, we experience it because we're watching the movie, even though it's through Marty's eyes. He doesn't get that moment until the very end, when that final, a child is the one thing that like pierces the veil of Marty's life and makes him go, oh shit, like, I actually have to be a parent. I have to be a dad. And I think that was perfect. I loved it. I loved that ending. I loved that last little exclamation point at the end of it, to sort of be like, he isn't redeemable, but this is the first step, and then now he has to be a father. And he could just run away. He's ran away from this girl twice already, and throughout the course of the movie, but he chooses to stay, and he has an emotional reaction, which is more than we've ever seen throughout the movie. But I genuinely think, you know, hats off to all the actors and actresses. They all did phenomenal. Obviously, it's the Timothée Chalamet show because he's the main character, and that's the thing. And yeah, they did great. Tens across the board as far as performances go. I really loved everyone. Even like the very brief cameos from certain characters. Like, you're just like, all right, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, it just, the movie just is carried by the performances. And I think, you know, it really brings it all together. If the performances were even half as good, this movie would not have any legs to stand on, like, at all. Like, it really is carried by this. Yeah, I had like a rough rubric that I kind of like bullet point noted. I know this is my first movie review that I'm going to be doing on this channel. I'm going to be looking to do more of those. I'm going to refine the rubric for later. Final notes. Let me double check my little notes app real quick. Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess like downsides. Feels like the second act drags just a hair. I remember I was watching it, and like, it just keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I'm like, all right, I get it. Like, when are we gonna sort of move on to the next thing? And then thankfully the third act is sort of like a fake out, kind of. You'll see what I mean when you watch the movie. If you watch the movie, that the third act is sort of a bait and switch to some extent, which then makes sense that the second act is so incredibly long, because it has to fill the gap that would have been the third act if you just sort of ended the movie. The best thing about this movie, besides the performances, is still the marketing campaign. I feel like everyone and their mother saw the marketing campaign for this movie. You could have been an uncontacted tribe and still seen a Marty Supreme ad. I know Timmy himself was like big on the actual marketing campaign and like putting forth ideas, and I think that that's really impressive. That someone can not only just be so talented as far as acting, but as well as just being like good at like this dude was just like, let's just take risks and just do crazy stuff and we'll see what happens. And yeah, that's just mad respect. But yeah, the marketing campaign is just one of the best I think I've seen for a movie in a while. Definitely recommend going and checking it out because it does somewhat live up to the hype. If I had to give it a review, I'd probably give it like an 8, 7 or an 8, 7.5. I don't know if I'm gonna do half scores. I'm still kind of figuring out what I want to do as far as rubrics go, but yeah, like 7.5, 8. We'll say 8. We'll round up. Marty Supreme, 8 out of 10. And while I didn't lose a arm for the marketing of this movie, would I say I gained an arm spiritually? Probably not. Maybe like a hand. Yeah, I feel like a spiritual hand is something I probably gained from seeing this movie. But yeah, that's about it. Hi, I'm back and in a different shirt this time. I wanted to throw this in as I was editing this video for Marty Supreme. The Oscar nominations for 2026 came out, and I thought it would be fun to do what I'm going to call the 2026 Oscar Blitz. I think that's, workshop the name, but that's roughly what it's going to be. I'm going to try and watch all the movies nominated for every single category in the Oscars and post reviews about them here on this channel. Obviously, the first will be Marty Supreme, as you're watching this video right now. And I will just work my way through and try and watch and review all the movies before the Oscars actually happen, which is on March 15th. So starting now until March 15th, my goal is to watch all the movies listed and review them here on this channel. So it's going to be a blitz. I only have 2 months to watch a bunch of movies. So yeah, Marty Supreme is up first, and I hope you stick around for the rest of the nominees. And come along with this blitz with me, if that makes any sense. And I will see you soon. See ya.